This crude contraption will allow you to transport the remains of our master.
Can you not simply raise the remains when we find them?
Pardon, Lord, but a being of Kel'Thuzad's power can only be reanimated at a nexus of powerful ley energies, and there are no such places in this land.
Very well then. Let's move out. At last. At last. Frostmourne hungers. This is more like it.
Arthas! Stop this madness before it's too late!
Stand aside, brother. I've come to collect some old bones and I don't wish to be disturbed. Frostmourne hungers. At last. Finally. This is more like it. Frostmourne hungers. Frostmourne hungers. Finally. This is more like it.
I can't believe that we ever called you brother. I knew it was a mistake to accept a spoiled prince into our order. You've made a mockery of the Silver Hand.
Frostmourne hungers. What is it now? This is more like it. At last. Finally. For the Lich King. At last. Frostmourne hungers. This is more like it. At last. This is more like it. Come along now, Necromancer. The powers that you once served have need of you again.
Told you, my death would mean little.
What the? Am I hearing ghosts now?
It is I, Kel'Thuzad. I was right about you, Prince Arthas.
It took you long enough. These remains are badly decomposed. They will never survive the trip to Quel'Thalas.
Quel'Thalas?
Yes. Only the energies of the High Elves' Sunwell can bring Kel'Thuzad back to life.
Then what must be done?
You must steal a very special urn from the Paladin's keeping. Place the Necromancer's remains within it, and he will be well protected for the journey.
As you wish.
Where shall my blood be spilled? I wish only to serve. My fate is sealed.
The undead must haunt the gold mine before the acolytes can begin harvesting gold.
I bow to your will. I gladly obey. My life for Ner'zhul. Thy will be done.
Blight is created when undead structures are summoned. Buildings can only be summoned onto Blight, with the exception of the necropolis.
No one orders me around.
Summoning is complete. Where shall my blood be spilled? Yes, Master.
When standing on Blight, wounded undead units regenerate faster.
My fate is
Summoning a graveyard will supply the undead army with fresh corpses.
Tread lightly.
Summoning is complete. I bow to your will. I gladly obey.
Summon more ziggurats.
I wish only to serve. Thy will be done. I gladly obey. Thy bidding, Master. Summoning is complete. Yes, Master.
Summon more ziggurats. Ghouls harvest lumber for the undead army.
Summoning is complete.
Summon more ziggurats.
Summoning is
Summon
complete.
more ziggurats.
Summoning is complete. My life for Ner'zhul. My fate is sealed. Thy will be done.
Speak, fool. This is more like it. Ah, at last. Finally.
Summoning is complete.
Frostmourne hungers. Ah, at last. This is more like it.
Summoning is complete.
Finally.
Summoning is complete.
Frostmourne hungers.
More gold is required.
I wish only to serve. I gladly obey.
Upgrade complete.
This is more like it. What is it now?
More gold is required. Research complete. Must feed.
What is it now? Ah, at last. Finally. Frostmourne
Summoning is
hungers.
complete. Summoning is
Finally.
complete.
Vile betrayer! You are not fit enough to even carry your father's name! Why Uther ever vouched for you is beyond me. You've stripped him of his honor by casting yours to the winds. You deserve a gruesome death, boy.
Research complete. Our hero has been killed. Upgrade complete. Must feed.
Where shall my blood be spilled?
Our town is under attack.
I bow to your will. My fate is sealed.
This is more like it.
More gold is required.
Thy bidding, master.
Ah, at last. Ah, at last. Frostmourne hungers. Finally. For the Lich King.
Summoning is complete. Summoning
is more
is complete.
Finally. Frostmourne hungers.
Must feed.
Ah, at last. This is more like it. Finally. Ah, at last. Tread lightly. Now, Frostmourne.
Must feed. Upgrade complete.
This is more like it. Frostmourne hungers. Frostmourne hungers. Finally. At last. This is more like it.
Our forces are under
shall be
attack.
legendary. You will know endless torment. Frostmourne hungers.
Upgrade complete.
Finally.
Upgrade complete.
At last. This is more like it. Frostmourne hungers. This is more like it.
Faithless coward.
Finally. At last.
What's that?
Frostmourne hungers. This is more like it.
Save us!
At last. Finally. Frostmourne hungers. At last. This is more like it. Finally. At last.
Must feel it.
This is more like it. Frostmourne hungers. Finally. Frostmourne hungers. This is more like it. At last. Finally. Frostmourne hungers. Finally.
Our town is under attack.
At last. This is more like it. This is more like it. Frostmourne hungers. Finally. At last. I'll make sure you suffer.
Help! The undead
At last. Frostmourne hungers. Finally. This is more like it. Frostmourne hungers.
What's that? Must feel it.
Finally.
I must feast on souls.
At last.
I grow tired of waiting.
Finally. Ah, at last. Frostmourne hungers. This is more like it. This is more like it. Finally.
I wish only to serve. Yes, Master.
Ah, at last. Frostmourne hungers.
Upgrade complete.
Finally. For the Lich King. This is more like it. Frostmourne hungers. Ah, at last. This is more like it.
Upgrade complete.
Finally.
Summoning is complete.
Ah, at last. Frostmourne hungers. Frostmourne hungers. This is more like it. Ah, at last. Finally. Finally. Ah, at last. Frostmourne hungers. I'll make sure you suffer. This is more like it. Ah, at last. This is more like it. Finally. Frostmourne hungers. This is more like it.
Your father ruled this land for 70 years, and you've ground it to dust in a matter of days.
Very dramatic, Uther. Give me the urn, and I'll make sure you die quickly.
The urn holds your father's ashes, Arthas. What, were you hoping to piss on them one last time before you left his kingdom to rot?
I didn't know what it held. Nor does it matter. I'll take what I came for one way or another. Frostmourne hungers. Ah, at last. This is more like it. Frostmourne hungers. Finally.
must bleed.
At last. This is more like it. Frostmourne hungers. Faithless coward. Finally. This is more like it. Frostmourne hungers. At last. Finally.
I dearly hope that there's a special place in hell waiting for you, Arthas.
We may never know, Uther. I intend to live forever. Finally. Frostmourne hungers. This is more like it. At last. At last. Frostmourne hungers. This is more like it. Finally. At last.
Excellent work. Now your journey to Quel'Thalas can begin.
Tell him nothing. Only you can hear me. The Dreadlords cannot be trusted. They are the Lich King's jailers. I will tell you all when I walk this world again.